go.
Happy Saturday.
Happy
I'm Mike with
Saturday.
HighSchool Creations.
And I'm 796 Studios. I make cool stuff, baby. Let's go.
And this is The Build, Episode 1.
The debut.
The debut.
You know what, Mike? I'm sorry, man. That intro, I was so hyped. I didn't mean to like jump down your throat like that churro. I'm so sorry, baby.
Dude, that video, man, that gets me hyped. I'm ready.
Dude, I was hyped in the green room, man. So epic, very cinematic.
Well, welcome to the first episode of The Build. To first start out with, I do want to say a few thank yous to a few folks over on Patreon. We got ToyingAround, Branded, Bearded Builds, Bearded Builds. Speaking of Bearded is the moderator tonight. Thank you, Bearded. Billy Moon, Bat Force Grumps, Sacrifice Plastic, and Scott. Thank you guys for all the support over on Patreon. So, Mario.
Yeah.
How's everybody in the chat's doing?
Oh, am I doing roll call?
I don't know. It's episode 1. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Let's look
you
through
take
here.
this one. And then
Dart G. All right. Dart G, what's going on, man? I'll snap. Yeah, this is it. This is starting back up. Lies with Mike and Mario. The Chamba, this should be a good one. We'll let you know at the end, or you guys let us know at the end. Bearded in the house. What's up, Bearded? Like I said, Bearded is the moderator tonight, so you guys keep it clean, keep it fun. If not, you out of here.
Scram.
In the house, what's going on? Driving kids party. We'll try to catch the stream when I get home. Hopefully you guys still on. Yeah, we plan on being on for a few hours, and if not, maybe there'll be an after party over on IG. I don't know. Downview crew, what's up? Tree gang. Matt, what's going on? Oof, that's a new name.
Oof.
OOF. Hey, look at that. 796 in the house. What's up? What's up, man? Matthew Toy. Shout out to Matthew Toy. We'll talk about this later, but Matthew helped pull everything together last minute. Some late hours put in last night, but thank you, Matthew Toy, for all the help. Win or lose in the house. What's going on? Wing or lose, sorry. In the house. What's going on? Yo, Kev, ToyingAround. How's it going? Oilers Workshop. Oh, fancy. Yeah, we fancy here. Yoko. Hey, Yoko.
What's up, Yoko?
Corey, what's going on? New name in the chat. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Bad Wolf Media in the house. What's up? Billy Moon, what is up? Pablo, thank you for coming out.
Oh, you skipped my boy Alonzo.
Oh, did I? I think I highlighted and just moved on to Billy. Alonzo.
That's my homie.
Alonzo. I'm going to call him out a couple of times. What's going on? Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us on this momentous, historic occasion of The Build.
You know, one thing I forgot, and I can't really hear. That's probably why I keep over talking you or you over talking me. I need to put my earbuds in. I'm getting old. I can't hear nothing. Hold on one second, guys.
You know what? It's the first episode. We're working out the kinks right now.
Hopefully you
Mike
guys can hear.
Hyped.
Didn't do a mic check or anything.
No, you did not.
Coming in hot.
Cool, man. So, Mike, if you're ready, why don't we let's inform the audience of what The Build is and the purpose of this podcast live stream. What do you think?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right,
Let's
cool.
talk about it.
Yeah. So Mike and I have been, well, we've been friends for a couple of years now, and throughout our friendship, we've developed this thing called Date Night, where we just talk about dioramas, among other things, but it's mainly about dioramas, either the power trip much. I don't understand what that means. Cool. But, you know, like the things that kind of, you know, getting out of a creative rut or new ideas, whatever the case is, we find ourselves talking about this hobby, which has turned into this passion of ours for the past couple of years. And we figured, you know what? this might actually be a good show to bring to everybody, and we can share not only the things that we're excited about, but the things that keep us up at night. And maybe some of these stories will resonate with you. So just another platform and content to bring to you, the people, about dioramas, miniatures, customs, anything involving creative builds. You're welcome.
There you go. The build. And so the first episode is titled, our main topic is going to be the build. And it's going to be the build up to this, right? How we met, how we got in this hobby, and where we are today, how we're getting here today. Mm-hmm. But before we do that, Mario, what's going on? How you been?
Oh, you know, hanging in there, buying toys. Actually, I've been work was crazy, but I've been building something. God damn it, man. I still don't have that. I like the slow pullout. Yeah, mine's still in Japan, just hanging out in some warehouse, but I'm really excited. Hopefully we have time for you to open that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I've been busy with work, kids, life. Had a cool weekend. I've been building though in a newer scale, which is kind of I don't know. It's gotten me motivated to get out of a rut. It's 1/35th scale. I don't have it. Damn, I didn't bring it with me. I'll go grab it later. But yeah, I've been trying out some new techniques, and I've been loving it, dude. What about you? What you been up to?
Yeah, man. You know, a lot of the same family work, you know, the stuff during the real life stuff, right? But, you know, working into some diorama stuff. I'm still working on this big Epic City diorama build. I finally got all the wins this week, just doing those final touches. I've been saying that for weeks, I feel like, but really they're all in, just doing those final touches. You know, this thing is so big. You know, I've been taking step backs, looking at it. It's been put together for weeks, you know, just making sure I got all those details covered. And almost ready to ship, man. Almost ready to get this thing shipped out. But outside of that, just been, you know, planning for this, man. I've been looking forward to this since we started talking about it. And here it is. I'm excited.
Yeah. How long have we been talking about this for?
You know, we've been talking about doing a live stream for a long time, but this probably was it before we went to EnablerCon 2 or EnablerCon 2022?
I think maybe it was no, I think we did have this conversation at EnablerCon.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been talking about doing something like this for at least, it feels like a couple years, but I'm glad we're finally here, man. And it looks great. I like the setup. The backdrop looks great. That intro was killer. And thank
you, Machu.
Yeah, Machu. Do we want to talk about that now before we get into it? And how Machu's the freaking man?
The freaking man, yeah. Machu is great. Yeah, last minute coming through, Machu. Thank you. I'm gonna let you take this one because
yeah,
this is kind of your baby after my failures.
No, man, your stuff was good. We just what did I say? We cheeseburgered it. We actually took the burger out, the cheese or the buns out, everything, and we constructed a whole new burger essentially. But no, everybody knows Machu Toy is the homie. Not only has he saved me before, he helped me with, you know, that custom I did for Chamba. He was the one that picked me up in New York and drove me around. He gave me some lunch money because I had forgotten my wallet back in Chicago. Just an overall, just good dude, looking out for yours truly. He's like my guardian angel. So when Mike and I decided to do a dry run last night, Mike's pulling up the graphics. We didn't have an intro, right? We didn't have an intro yet.
I don't. I was going to work on it today. Just like put something together last minute, right?
Yeah. And as we're like doing this dry run, I'm like, you know what? I got to hit up Machu. I'm like, yo, you busy? He's like, oh, I'm driving back from I don't know where he was. He was on the road. I'm like, pull over, get on this live stream with us right now. And sure enough, he man, I sound like a bully to Machu when you think about it. Like I'm just bossing him around.
Hey, you got it done. You got it done.
No, but he was more than willing to come on and help us. And you know, he gave us this idea for doing the cutting mat for the background. And then this morning I was driving to my mom's house, and I had this idea for like the intro, making it cinematic. And I explained to you and Machu my idea. He's like, hold my beer. And then within a few hours later, he sent that masterpiece to us.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I almost want to
like,
replay it again. Can we start it over again?
Yeah, roll it from the back, baby. No, but yeah, man, he came through. That intro really, I mean, it's totally me for sure. You know, you guys know how I like that cinematic and that theatrical feel, and I feel like you. I mean, I got those Reveltech turtles. I might have to send them over. But Machu, thank you. You are my ambassador, Quan, man.
Yeah. So last night we spent. We even got bearded in here last night, and we spent several hours just chopping it up and running through, this, getting prepared, and pushing Machu to get us some stuff. And no, Machu was great. He was so willing to do this for you, and I was so taken back by how quickly he did this and how amazing it looks. So much love to you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right, so you ready to do this?
Let's go. What's up, Jason?
Yo, what's up? All right, so tonight's topic, alluded to this earlier, is the build.
The build, baby. And I know it's kind of a just like a broad topic, right? And I figure for our first episode, we talk about the origin stories, how I became 796, how Mike became High School Creations, how we became a couple or a thing, and what we've built, not only for our own artistic presence within the toy community, but what we hope to build with not only this show, but with our own individual paths too. So, Mike, why don't you start us off with your humble beginnings?
Wow. So in 1984, there was a lady. No, I'm just kidding. Not going that far back. Let's bring it forward.
So wrap it up, B.
Origin story, and a lot of people, I get a lot of interesting views or looks. I say views, looks when I say, "Hey, I'm High School Creations," or "I'm Mike High School Creations." Like, you're not in high school. Like, how you know I'm not in high school? You got gray in your beard, whatever. I'm as short as an elementary school kid, so that's probably also adding to the confusion. But no, realistically, so in high school, like I was very, I drew a lot. I attended art class. I've been artistic all my life. But for after high school, for several years, up to 10 years, I think, I didn't do anything creative. I just worked, did the, early adult thing. Right. And then around 20, I don't know, just a few years or 5 years ago, what is that? I can't math anymore. 2017, I found my drawings from high school, and I was like, oh, I'd love to revisit these. I had them in a nice binder. I kept them nice, and I started drawing again. I digitalized those drawings, and I wanted a place to post them. So Instagram was naturally the thing I went to, and I didn't want to post as myself. I was very, timid, if you will, about posting, stuff out there because, I didn't have a lot of like-minded friends that I do now, and I'm truly appreciative of that. But so I didn't have a name to come up with. I'm very terrible at coming up with names. So I was like, well, these are high school. I created these in high school creations. And there it was. So I started posting those digitalized pics. And then that evolved into, more artistic things. Cosplay led into, collecting action figures again. Then I got into dioramas and photography and videography. And it just, took off from there. And, never dropped the name High School Creations. That's the name I've been running as since 2017. And so it's just stuck. And even as I'm coming up with like an LLC, I talked about this on my live last week. Like, I kept the name because that's now me. That's my thing. I'm Mike with High School Creations.
Dude, you know what? High School Creations is now a household name.
It is in my house, at least.
Do they call you High School Creations? Do your kids call you High School Creations?
Yeah, they go, that's High School Mike.
No. Yeah. Yo, I remember do you remember when you first dropped High School Mike? when you said it?
No, because I say stupid things all the time, so
Dude,
it's hard to keep track.
The first time, and we have video evidence, the first time you said it was when Enablers season 1 cast was in Decon, and we were wrapping up and doing our outros. It was like, I'm toying around. I'm prompted first. I'm 796 Studios, and I'm High School Mike. And we all just died. And then I was like, cheers, dude. That was great, man.
Yo, that first Enabler Con, ooh, that was a good time. Loved it.
Yeah, I can't believe it was a year ago now. That's nuts, man. Yeah, man. I'm sorry. Continue, Mike.
No, that's it. There's not much more after that. I think you guys, for the most part, know Decon 2021 was epic. Yes, got to meet Jason there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys know the story from there. I started creating dioramas. I've always liked building, stuff in general, using my hands to do things. Obviously, I'm an artist. But
when did you start?
That's basically it.
When did you start Instagram?
2017.
2017. Oh, dang.
Yeah.
In the beginning of 2017?
No, it was around when my son was born. So my son was born in November, and then I had 30 days off to spend with him, and that's when I started going through things where like shifting rooms and stuff like that. And I found that that art from high school, and so just sitting at home, like I was used to always being on the go, right? Sitting at home, I just found a new passion through drawing again, especially the digitalized stuff. I ended up picking up an iPad that year and started drawing digitally, and it changed. My son was a catalyst. It changed my mindset of who I am now. And
really?
Yeah, I credit everything that I'm doing today to my children. They continue to press me, just like earlier this year with dioramas. I was not using the laser to cut. My son's like, I want to cut one on the laser, and I'm like, can I do that? There you go.
Really? Oh, I hadn't known that.
No. Yeah.
So all your ideas come from your son. Nice. Cool.
Hey, kids, man. Kids are so open-minded. Like a lot of inspiration comes from those guys.
Yeah, I would agree, man. Dang. That's crazy. I wish I had a laser.
Yeah. And then, 3 years ago, or 3 years before that, I fell into a liquid vat of radiated diorama XPS foam, and that's where I got my superpower.
What is your superpower?
That I don't have a superpower. I'm generally good at a lot of things. I'm not, excellent at one thing, I guess I should say. Like I can do a lot of different things.
A jack of all trades.
Yeah. I can pick it up quick, but I'm not able to go like super in depth, but I can high level understand a lot of things. I don't know. Let's hear your orange story. Let's get off me.
My orange story.
Orange story.
Yeah, Mike, you really don't like the spotlight, huh? I was into it. I was into it. All right. Well, I'll drag it back out of you, but it's funny how you mentioned that your son got you into it, and I'll get to that in a bit. It's story time, and everybody loves when I tell stories. I'll start back, not as far back. Give me the big screen, baby. I like it. As far as I can remember, I've always been creative, and I've told you this story many times. I don't think I've ever told this. I'm sure I've told it on the stream before, one of many other streams. But when I was growing up, me and my brother, my mom couldn't afford the official toys, so we get a lot of knockoffs from Jewel Osco, the toy aisle at Osco, right? So we'd create our own universes, and we'd have to use shoe boxes and whatever as play sets or dioramas, and that was my thing. I would be making backdrops or whatever using whatever materials we had, right? So that has always been a part of me. But and toys, I mean, toys has always been a part of me and my childhood, even though we couldn't get the official stuff, right? I mean, we got some good stuff here and there, but when I became an adult and started making money, that's when I started buying all the good stuff. So right. But fast forward, dude, it's weird. 2017 is when I also started my IG page. It was my son's birthday. My brother had bought him some SHF Dragon Ball Z figures from Toys R Us, right? And I mean, I knew of SHF, and I knew that they were like a premium figure. And I'm like, why did you get this for Mason? These things are like $50 a piece, right? And I'm like, crap. Now I want them all. So, and that's why I'm a completist for all this DBZ stuff, right? So one day Mason's playing with, Goku, and he's like, Dad, can you buy me a playset? I'm like, I don't think they make any. So I go on eBay and I'm looking, and there's all these like custom DBZ dioramas. I'm looking and I'm like, what is this made out of? Obviously, that led to another rabbit hole down YouTube, looking at tutorials. I'm like, you know what? I think I can make this stuff. And sure enough, we went to Home Depot. I picked up some foam. We carved it out. It was pretty, basic, but it looked cool, and he loved it. And then I kept on going on eBay looking at stuff to possibly buy. But then I'm like, you know what? Let me throw mine up for sale and see if I get anything. I was thinking maybe I get like $40-$50, and it sold for like 200. And I'm like, dude, you could make, a side hustle with this thing, right? So I started building, and that's what prompted me to make an Instagram. And it was really just going to showcase the dioramas that I had built. But there's a toy community that I was unaware of, right? So I started looking at the ACBA community, looking at the toy photographers, looking at how people incorporate dios into photography, getting exposed to like newer lines and properties. And then I fell into that rabbit hole. And ever since then, it's been, collecting and trying out new figures, but building dioramas to fit whatever new toy line that I'm into, or whatever the case is. And then in 2020, I think it's 2020, when I got bit by the cyberpunk bug, and then my dioramas had slowly shifted to a cyberpunk type theme, right? So again, it started all with Mason, and it led to this, whatever the hell this is now, right? I mean, I have so much foam in not only in my kitchen, my living room, and this little like stairway in my small Chicago apartment. Mario falls in the new rabbit hole every week. This is true. I mean, shoot, what's the latest one? Oh, like 118? Oh no, 125th scale?
Oh wow. I've not even seen that one yet.
I know, I got this week.
What was,
yeah, man,
you said you were selling in 2018. Like that's when you first started selling. What platform were you selling on?
On eBay.
In fact, I hit up Macari. I was on Macari, like just like hustling dios. And I think one of the first people that I still know today was Ace.
Really?
Animated Heroes. He picked up my first sewer dio. And I had no idea until years later. Actually, I think it was like last year. I realized, like watching one, I was like, hey, I recognize that dio. And it was the base from one of his videos. It was so, I didn't even know. Like, I wasn't in tune, like you were saying before. Like I was just building and putting them out there, and people were buying them. I was not even connected to this community yet, and then that's how I started getting in the community. And I was like, oh, there's so many talented people here.
Yeah,
and, it grew from there.
Dude, that's so crazy. I actually, very similar story. Jay Hernandez found one of my dios on eBay, and he bought it. And then we connected, right? He's like, oh, I have this YouTube channel. Back in the day, he had like 500 subscribers to his YouTube channel. And obviously you see where he's at right now. But yeah, that's weird how like selling on that platform. And I feel like eBay and Macari is huge, right? It's kind of a small world. You think about it, but like these YouTubers or these people in the community found us, and now we're kind of like reconnected back with them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I've never used Macari, by the way.
I don't use it anymore. Just like eBay, it's kind of saturated now. But this question came up, and I thought it was pretty relevant to the conversation. So yours was a tournament stage?
No, but I did make a tournament stage. And no, the very first dio I made was just like a generic like rock scene dio with like broken rubble, and I remember there was like a hole that I cut out in like a wall that looked like, you know, maybe somebody could have got punched through. I'll see if I can find a photo and post it later on this week. But it was pretty just basic, man. It was just cut up foam with a gray base coat and then dry brush some white paint.
Yeah, that's basically what mine was. I bought the green foam from Lowe's, didn't know any better, right? Took a big pen and started just doing bricks by hand, right? And then took Plasti Dip, and then black, then gray, then white dry brushing. I still have it actually, but that was my first like diorama piece. And then I made a base.
You got it right now?
I don't have it with me, but I still have it up in storage. And then I took EVA foam and made a base, kind of like the Tournament of Power with no, it was Cell. I'm sorry. It was a Cell Saga. The Cell, what was that called? Whatever that was. But I did, you know, like 2-inch blocks on EVA foam.
Yeah.
Not even thinking about how it would bow up, you know?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh, I've made that mistake before. I used like water effects, like Woodland Scenics water effects on bare foam. And that's a dial that I sold to Jay Hernandez. And then like a year later, it's up on, he's making a YouTube video and you could just see it bubbling up. I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Did he say anything?
No, he never said anything. I was the one that had to say something to him. I'm like, yo, that's not supposed to look like that, man.
Yeah, so to go back to the question though, I did not sell that diorama. I still have that diorama. This is the guy selling the one with the bubbles. Oh
my god.
Just kidding. All right, got derailed for a minute there. But yeah. So that was 2020. Oh.
This is my buddy from home. And I tell you guys all the time, like, I'm a closet nerd. Like, nobody in like my real life knows about 796. And then recently, I think maybe like a few months ago, I told Alonzo, and he's like, why didn't you tell me about this earlier? He's like, that stuff is so cool. And I'm like, I don't know, man.
It is weird. I think with like MCU and all the cinematic and Marvel stuff and comic book stuff that's in theaters, like mindsets had changed. Like if I was doing this stuff back in high school, I would have got beat up for this, right? And that happened.
Yeah.
But now it's like, cool. The same people that would have, you know, whipped my ass are now like, dude, you made that? Can I buy that? You know? And it's like, it's totally reversed what it was then.
Yeah. It's a little flip now. You know, some like my family knows about this and they're like, oh, do you make those figurines? And I'm like,
dolls?
Come on, man.
You mean dolls?
You know, I'm like, don't bring that noise along my way. Come on, like, go read a book. Oh my god. But no, it's cool. It's cool that I have a buddy from home that knows about this passion. So, and he's all about it.
Nice. So 2020 really, because I know you, you know, kind of how we met. Well, how we met really was through Instagram, right? So it started growing the network, started getting more visibility into these other creators, great creators like yourself. And one of the things that stuck out to me about you was everything was so well produced, from your videos, you know, to your stories, to your posts, your dioramas, your posing sessions, right? There was build wars posts. I think you had some posing sessions. I remember when you were using those, they're not ribbons, but they were like, you know, the wired paper, the shimmery wired paper for like effects. And I was like, oh my, this guy is just crazy. And you know, your cyberpunk stuff was really, you know, catching my eye, and I was like, that's really cool. Not really seen that done by anybody. And I remember hitting you up and saying, man, what can't you do? And you said sing and dance. And I just thought that was hilarious. I'm like, you sure you can't do those things? It turns out you can. I've seen the videos that, you know, Prime puts out. You can do those things. So there's nothing this guy right here can't do.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember, yeah, that was 2020. That was, I think, well into the pandemic, because I had taken a break from 796 for like from the beginning of 2019 up until pandemic. That's when I decided to jump back into it, right? And during that time frame, though, I had picked up a different skill set or a different hobby, and it was filming, right? I was obsessed with like cinematic video and production. I had taken a couple like master classes. I spent thousands of dollars on, I had what was it, an R6, whatever. I had a Canon camera before, and I realized that wasn't gonna produce the results that I wanted. So I traded it in for an A7 III. Then I shifted to the Sony family, and I got, the holy trinity of lenses. And I picked up this awesome skill set, man. I still think that, editing videos, and like publishing like a final product, is like the most satisfying thing, right? But I translated that stuff that I learned into 796, and that's why like the stories were a little bit different. Just showcasing like the work in progress stuff. And I do remember you hitting me up, and it was always very like complimentary. You were so nice. You're like, wow, this is so cool. And I, looking back at it, I'm like, damn, was I a jerk to Mike? I was like, I would just heart it, or I would say, yeah, thanks.
I wouldn't know any better. I'm just a nice guy and would have just, hey, at least he acknowledged.
No,
it was joking. 796 Studios, man. I mean, to me, I still talk about how I look up to you and inspired by you, and come to you with a lot of advice, So,
yeah,
no, that's true.
No, but yeah, man, I think after that line, the whole sing and dance thing, I mean, we just started joking from there, and I don't know. I mean, we must have just been talking about diodes and tools. Oh, you know what it was? I know exactly what, because you were doing live streams back then on IG, and you were installing magnets, and you had busted out this brass or copper tube, and you were using it to like score a line in the foam and pull it out. You're like, oh yeah, this is what I use to make the indents for my magnets. And I immediately jumped on Amazon because I was like, well, maybe do I want to go to Home Depot to buy this copper tube? No. I went on Amazon. I found a 17 millimeter hole punch, and that worked perfectly. And then I think I credited
I remember you. Yeah.
I did it.
You sent me links. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's when I dropped the line. I just cheeseburgered it. I took your idea and put some cheese on it.
Yeah, and I use that pretty much every build. Like I have that 17 millimeter. I think I have an 18 too. I think it was a little too big, but
yeah, so do I.
Both.
I think we both bought 18 millimeters because the magnet itself is 18 millimeters, but we didn't take into account that once you press that into the foam, it pushes it out an additional millimeters. So that's why you got to size down. 17 millimeters is going to work perfectly. So that's a tip for all you guys out there. 17 millimeters, size down.
So this is, I think all this is before enablers, because this is right around the time of enablers. That was what, 2020, December 2020, right? We got all in a group chat, started talking about printing and like technology, and that led into enablers because we were all persuading each other to buy. Remember, I sent you guys that link for that microphone and arm that was like $10 after
scam?
The discount. Yeah, and then like nobody was supposed to have it, and then like cancel everybody's order.
Yeah, you ruined Kevin's credit score with that. He clicked on that link. It's like $10 for a mic. I'm in. And
that was through Amazon, though. No, that was through Amazon.
Either way, he's ruined.
Yeah, he's ruined. But yeah, I remember all that. That was good times leading up to the enablers and then the enablers.
Yeah, but no, I remember though, like it would be cool to have that line of communication, because you were always down to just workshop some ideas with me. And I remember it might have been early 2021 where we wanted to do a collab build, a cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk.
Actually, that started out, you want to do Dio Wars, and I had no idea how to respond to your first post.
Oh,
and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah. Dude, I still think that's a great idea. I want to challenge your ass in a build off, man. Or we could just collab instead. I
gotta get rid of this big monster Dio. You know how much that's like kind of cramping my style on builds. It takes up all the space.
Yeah, you need to clear up some space. I've seen that firsthand. It takes up everything that you have over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, we were gonna do that cyberpunk dojo. So you heard it here first, folks. Cyberpunk dojo.
I actually started some work on it. I was going to send you the base, so I started on the CNC cutting
You did?
PVC. Yeah, on the PVC because we designed the floor, right? There's all these different squares to make those mats, right? And I did design those and started cutting them, and then I don't know what happened. I broke a couple bits, which happens quite a bit on the CNC, and I was like, forget this. And then the laser came later that year, and I never touched the CNC. Well, I probably touched it a few times, but it's a shelf and dusty.
Let me get that, by the way.
Sure.
Sell it to me. I'll put it in the kitchen.
Yeah, it creates a lot of dust. It's messy.
All right, maybe I'll put it in the backyard then.
Yeah. I'll send it to you. I will hold any COVID. In box.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you tell them that story? It was right before.
I think that was around the time of enablers as well. But that was what, end of 2020, December.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was when the Mafex, the Spider-Verse Mafex or Miles Mafex came out, and
it was after Christmas.
Yeah, I pretty much was buying all your dupes at that point, or buying whatever you had Mafex, because I missed them all, wasn't pre-ordering. And I picked that one up, and I remember that one came in, but you had gone like kind of radio silence, but you still managed to ship it out. And I opened it and left it out in my garage and came back to finally like look at it, and the garage smelled great. And I was like, what is making that smell? And I got all around the box, and it was the box that you sent. I was like, man, this box smells great. And I remember I was like texting you, and I was texting Kev, and I was like, dude, whatever Mario sent smells great. And then like days later, you're like, oh, I just got to the hospital, I had COVID. And I was like, I'm just sniffing that box. My wife's like, how many days has it been? She was like doing the math. This was still like early COVID. Like everybody's like super paranoid and shit.
Yeah.
And nothing happened, but I was like, man, I was sniffing all in that box hard too.
Yeah.
It's a great figure though. I still like that figure. It got a lot of hate, but I like that.
Yeah,
figure.
I remember I was dying in the hospital and you hit me up. You're like, yo, what did you put in this box? I can't stop sniffing it. I'm like, I can't talk. I'm in the hospital with COVID.
Yeah, I remember dropping my phone. I was like, hey, Lauren, how many days is it?
I was like, don't tell Lauren. She's going to be pissed.
Yeah, we survived.
Yeah, we're still alive.
To the smell of COVID. I don't know if you guys have ever got anything from Mario. I'm sure you guys have, flight stands, whatever. I don't know if it's like, capturing the sense of his house or what, but the boxes always arrive with this smell inside the box that is like, ooh, what is that?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
See, Machu knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've gotten that quite a few times. A lot of people are like, yo, what'd you put in here? It smells great.
That's the experience. When you buy something for Mario, the experience of the box. We be sniffing.
Yeah, we be sniffing.
Oh yeah, I mean that. Oh, I was clicking on that one from Plastic. It's funny because that was what I had on that bottle of like the stuff that you made, the primer when you were down here back in what was that, December last year? It was Essence of Mario.
Wait, no, you said Mario secret sauce, right?
Oh, did I? I don't know.
I don't know.
Somewhere is that somewhere? Oh, there it is actually.
Chamba.
Oh, it just says sensual essence. You can't read it anymore, but
dude, Chamba, that's because you're all the way in Australia, man. That scent's not gonna last. Once it goes, past New York, it's gone. So.
Oh, you had no smell? You should send it back. Get a refund.
I try to get it there as quick as possible, man. Pay $200 to get it next week.
Wow.
No, I didn't pay $200.
Probably yeah, exactly. Where's off before it gets to Australia? Oh man. So yeah, that leads us, ever since then, like we've been talking pretty regularly about dioramas, right? just like bouncing each other's ideas off each other, cheeseburger and shit.
Yeah.
We had that one collab, right? This is an in-person collab. I've not done this with anybody else. The
Oh
Star Wars Dio.
yeah.
So when he came down in December, we were here. Poncho came over. Ponchisi came over. We built that Dio for Kev, and I ended up finishing up the paint. But we kind of did like a mini Dio wars or build session, right? You built one
It
piece,
was
I
a
built
build
another.
session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Well, you
fun.
know what? We got to do that again because I don't feel like I was in the best shape to be building because we had just had a big ass steak dinner and a couple of old fashions, right?
Right.
So not
Yeah.
only was I full, but I was kind of like, had a little bit of I was a little buzzed. But I do remember when we were kind of getting in the groove.
That's that
Smells like
laser
burnt toast.
smell.
No, but when we were getting in the groove, like we didn't talk to each other for like 3 hours, man. We were just like focused.
Yeah,
Either
I
that or we
remember
just
that.
dozing off. But yeah, man, I think, dude, I would love to do that again. Fly down there and just shit. I would love to go down there for like a week. I don't feel like a weekend was long enough because really we only were working for like 5 hours, not
Yeah,
the
we
whole
were
weekend.
goofing off the other time. Yeah, just
Yeah, we saw
doing whatever.
Spider-Man.
Did we? Yeah, we
Yeah.
do. Man, we did a lot of stuff. Wow. It
How
was
dare
a
you,
lot,
Mike?
and yeah, totally forgot. It was a lot in the weekend, and then I think we did a live stream too, didn't we? Yeah, we did a live stream as well.
Yeah, we did. It's unlisted
It
now.
was a Christmas live stream. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is no longer public, but yeah.
We got a little dicey. Yeah, man. So I don't know. We going to decon now because that's what in 2 weeks. I'm not going to decon. I can't. I would love to though. I mean, the show itself was okay, but I would love to go and just hang out with the homies again. Get the enabler house.
As long as the AC's fixed this time.
Oh my god, that's right. That
So
was
hot.
miserable. Actually, I did not
Windows
enjoy
open
that.
every night. Somehow we forgot about it after like the first day, and I think it was just because we were having so much fun. But
Kevin knows. Oh man.
oh,
But yeah.
he's got a good memory. He's got a good memory.
Well, he was the one that instigated that. He's the one that got canceled, not us. Actually, it was Poncho. Sorry, Kev. Guest of honor, Yoko.
Oh, is she gonna be at Decon? I guess she would be. They have a booth, right?
Yeah, she'll stop by. There'll be
I think I actually left something there. It might still be there in one of the cabinets.
Would you leave?
It was like I got this like custom head sculpt. It's got like 2 horns on it.
You really hurt me today, huh?
I'm just kidding. It's right here.
Oh, that's season 1, rude boy. Dude, I broke mine, man. Let me get that back.
No, that's mine.
Is that from Decon?
That's from Decon.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Yeah, let's get back on track, dude. So the build, that's our origin story. And now we have this platform. Hopefully this it's successful and it's, just a place where we can come in and just chat about our ideas, and hopefully it gets you guys motivated to either start building or at least chime in and, relate to some of these topics that we bring up in the future. But Mike, what are you hoping to build in the future for High School Creations?
It's a great question. There's a lot of things that I want to build. But like you started dabbling in other scales. I think after building the city diorama, I want to tackle another city diorama, but in a scale where I can really build out, a true city. So I want to dabble in some smaller scales. The very next diorama, however, is a commission. I've opened up one commission for a very special person. I hope you're here tonight in the audience. I talked to you yesterday. Going to be working on something a little different. It's still city themed. It's still 1/12 scale. However, there's a twist to it that I've not done before. And I'll talk to you a little bit about this. And it's using, terrain building, right? Some of those effects with resin and static grass and using some weed techniques. So I think you guys know what I'm alluding to. I'm going to save it for maybe a later episode to really talk more about. But, when I start getting more hands-on with that, I'll show some updates. But that's the next one. But I got to ship this big Dio out first. So once that's gone, I can really start building again. So it's that and then some smaller scale Dios.
Yo, what if you start sending that big Dio in sections so you can free up some space to start working on that new Dio? Or is that a terrible idea?
Well, I think the way that I'm building now, everything's got to be together, right? For it to make sense. So I understand like where cables should align and stuff like that. It's just the small details. And I'm so close to being done. There's really no point in shipping. I can just ship it all at once. So like yesterday I was cutting out, this is the details, cutting out the numbers for the different doors and the different buildings, right? So every building has a code.
Oh my
for
God.
mail, right? So this is going to be a Marvel theme. So even though it's a city theme. So I went and I found all these cool numbers. And let me read these off to you guys. So there's going to be some Easter eggs in here. So Earth 982. That's going to be one of the townhouses. That's 2099 verse. So that's everybody 2099. Spider-Man 2099. You got E065. That's Spider-Gwen. That's Spider-Gwen's universe. You got E295. AOA. E811. That is Days of Future Past. So there's going to be some cool Easter eggs in here. And then the McDonald's was 616. So that's obviously the main line there. But
McDonald's is the main line.
Yeah. But I thought it was cool to add those Easter eggs. And there's some graffiti that no one's really seen on the back that has got some Easter eggs. And that'll be shown with the final reveal. But there's still a lot of excitement in this Dio. It's just I can't build anything else. So it's got to be that. And I think it's at a point where I don't want to break it up and ship it because I want to see it all together. Because I want to do a final video and reveal. One of his big points was, while you're building this, I want you to film it. I want it to be on social media. So he really wants to see that final thing and post it. He was like, this is 2 years ago, still, growing and still growing today from a social media platform status. And he was like, I want this to grow with you. And, he gave me the time and, over I can say years of building this, like it's evolved, right?
Yeah. You know what? I didn't even think about that final shot. And I've sent out some Dios before where I didn't take like that final shot. I've sent out Dios in like sections before, and it always kills me. Like, damn, I wish I had taken that final shot. Are you going to? This is an idea. You should, and maybe you're already going to do this, but take the Dio outside and take some photos like in real sunlight.
Yeah. So I have to do some measurements because this will not fit on any tables. I actually have like 3 of those 2x6 or 8-foot tables. This won't fit on. This is 60 by 70. However, it'll fit in the bed of my truck. So one clip is going to be the sunlight hitting it and then coming down and then the exhaust starting up on the Raptor so it rumbles. I thought that'd be
on the white Raptor.
My kids call it that now too. Thanks.
Yes, it is the white Raptor.
It is the white Raptor.
It's accurate. Dude, yeah, that's going to be so badass when it's finally done. You take those outdoor shots. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's really going to set it off, I think, because when the light hits it, and, it's all been artificial, as much daytime light as I can be, but, when you take a diorama and put it outside, it's going to expose some things. And it also helps add the realism to it, too. So it's going to be some really great shots.
You know what? I don't think I've ever taken a diorama outside of my house to take a shot.
I was about to say, how did you ship it? But that makes sense.
I boxed it up and shipped it.
Just joking.
In fact, I don't think I've taken an action figure outside of my house. Oh, that's not true. I took Super 7 Donnie to the school to pick up the kids. I got to start taking my shit outside more often.
You never took, like I take figures to Disney. I had that Vant in my pocket at Toys R Us. No one ever called it out, by the way. Maybe you didn't see it in the video, but I had that in my back pocket the entire time.
Oh, you had Space Daddy in your pocket the whole time?
Yeah.
Was he hanging out of your pocket?
He was hanging out of the pocket, like arms just like hanging, chilling. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. You need to get that done so we can start building. I really want to work on that cyberpunk dojo because I think that'll be so badass. Um, and Patreon?
Yeah.
You doing any
Patreon.
work with that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess for, where we are today, right? So Patreon, putting a lot of effort into Patreon. So one of the things that I've always done since like the X Mansion, right? It's really where I first started doing this is designing stuff, my own stuff, right? And it started out in Tinkercad. But I started, archiving all these digital assets, right? What to do
Mm-hmm.
with them, right? I wanted to start this Patreon. One of the things I'm trying to do is, move the hobby more into or a side hustle or a main, gig. And so I wanted to be able to do a Patreon, but also be able to give back everything that I've built up. Not everything. Let me back that up. I'm not going to give back everything. Give back as much as I can. Add value for support, right? And I created this digital tier. A lot of folks do this, but I created a digital tier that's high school creations themed with the laser cut files, with 3D files, and offer them up as, different tiers over on Patreon. So now we're at a point where, every month we do a vote for a new 3D. Back in October, we did a vote and gas meters. Oh, come on. Gas meters
There you
came
go.
up on the list. And so designed some of those. This month, November, is going to be a fire hydrant. That's what the vote was. The vote for December just closed a couple days ago. Thank you, Bearded. So the next one is going to be a wall AC unit. Mario, you've already seen all these.
Yeah.
But these come
Sick.
fully supported, right? So there's going to be a new 3D file that members vote on every month, and then we'll add that to the archive for everybody to have. These things are fully ready to be printed, resin printed. They're fully supported. The supports are great. I print them out. I have folks like Mario print them out to make sure they're good. But that's the thing that's going on behind the scenes. I collab with Mario as much as I can, not just like building, right? Collab concepts, collab, thoughts on how to do things, right? That's
Mhm.
what we're always doing and hoping to bring as themes to the show.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And I called you this morning and I was taking a look at those STLs and they're so dope. And I gotta say, man, like ever since I got my 3D printer, I feel like that really elevated my Dio building, right? Like it's those little greebles, those little add-ons that really sell and make your Dio unique, right? Like that gas meter thing, dude. That that's so dope. And like AC units, I'm a fan of AC units, especially like if you see any like cyberpunk architecture, they for some reason have just a ton of AC units all over the place. They probably don't believe in central air or anything. But dude, that shit is so cool. And now like I'm like, Mike, I need your entire catalog. I need to have access to everything so I can print it out. And you never know like what you'll need, right? And that's why I think like that portion of your Patreon is so valuable because you have access to these little files that you can easily print and then it'll give so much character to what you're creating, right? I mean, think about it. You have like a bare diorama brick wall, right? Everything that all of us dio artists started off with. And it looks good as is, but you start putting some pipes, some meters, some AC units, and now it just becomes a whole different. Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's that good.
Boom.
It's that painted. But, you start adding little details. It sells at your eye. And, I got this from,
Mhm.
I can't even think right now. Euler's Workshop, right? One of the things I've always watched his live streams. He's another epic builder. But if you can trick the eye into believing it, sometimes it could be off in scale, but you see the right things that your eye automatically thinks, oh, that makes sense, and it'll sell it, right? These are the
Right.
things that help you sell it.
Yeah.
Small details.
Yeah. It is all about the details, especially for like toy photographers, right? Like building that set will set your picture apart from like the sea of other photos out there, right? And like you said, to your point, like there's something in your brain Like if you just had that bare wall, right? There's something in your brain that says this looks off. This doesn't look right. But you start adding the greeble, the little bits, those assets, and then your brain's like, all right, there's nothing wrong with this image. And then it sells the realism. So, dude, I'm a big fan of those STL files. I spend hours a week just looking for stuff that I can add, whether it's, on CG Trader, even Pinterest, just looking for ideas of stuff that I could maybe scratch build to add to like my walls. So I love it, dude. Good job, Mike.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, gonna just keep going with it, right? For as long as I can. Something that I don't think a lot of people's paid attention to, and I think they're becoming more accessible, is the lasers and laser cutting. As these things become small, and there are complete dioramas you can make with those laser files that I have out there. No one's really noticed, but a lot of these dios I've made over the past year are all laser cut. All the templates are out there. All you gotta do is plug them into the laser, cut them, and you have a dio you just got to paint. So, for the folks that are getting into lasers, or as that becomes more accessible, I think there's more value there that just hasn't been tapped into yet. So,
hell yeah, dude. I picked up you saw this, and I went live on IG yesterday, and I showed it off. I found a Book Nook kit, right? It's like a little diorama that you could put in a Book Nook, and it's all MDF. I think some cardstock, and it's all done with a laser. You can legit hit the button on a laser, boom, there you go. Now you have your dio pieces and just assemble it. I know there's a couple other companies that sell that, but they're at a much smaller scale. But shit, man, I want a laser bad. I just don't have space for it.
Yeah, there's space, and there's some, concerns. It does put out some fumes and stuff like that. So you do need, do need space. But like Glowforge, and there's some other Kickstarter desktop ones that are coming out with like pre-filters now. But yeah, you can. I mean, it opens the door for just like what the printers did, right? But now you can open up stuff, and this is a pack of doors going out to somebody with hinges. But like, I've got custom windows, custom doors. I love those kind of things. I like architecture. So I'm doing those all the time, like making, true wooden windows, right? In a Gothic state, or different types of windows. And, it's a game changer. All these details right here are, laser cut. These aren't 3D printed. And why I choose to cut with the laser is to print a door like this is going to take hours, right?
Yeah.
And you may have it, and if it fails, you got to start over. I can cut this in 10 minutes, and it's true wood. I feel like it sells it, right? It weathers the same way. And for me, I are still 3D print. There's no way I could cut this on the laser. So there's still value there. But, as I'm dabbling in machines, I like machines. I'm learning what works as far as time, as what also sells the piece.
Yeah, for sure, dude. CNCs are cheating, actually, Dioforge. Actually, dude, I get this a lot. Is 3D printing cheating? Hell no. That's just working smarter. I mean,
who is it cheating on?
Yeah, right, dude. I there are some like diorama purists out there, and if you're a purist, that's fine. More power to you, right? In fact, I respect it, right? But dude, I remember when I would make windows out of like balsa wood or even like stirrer sticks, and that shit takes forever. I can go in and Tinkercad design something, right? And yeah, maybe that might take a few hours, and then I can print as many as I want. So while the printer's working, I'm over there like carving stuff out, So, I mean, is it cheating? I don't think so. I think it's working a little bit smarter. Plus, like that gas meter, how are you going to scratch build that? I mean, I'm sure there's a way to scratch build it. It might take days. I would just print it.
You can make it out of clay, I guess. But at some point in time in the lifetime of humanity, someone's like, clay is cheating. You're not making it out of foam. Right? It's just advancements in technologies. People sometimes don't want to get with it. Some people don't.
Yeah.
But another example is I've seen people make foam fire escapes. They look great. Are they going to hold up your figure? No.
Probably not.
Make them out of wood, right? So I mean, you just got to figure it out.
There's also like there's a certain like psychological aspect to building, right? For me, I have a certain attention span with building. There are times where I'll just get burnt out and I'm sick of this build, right? There are some really just really crappy parts about building, right? Like the chores, like squaring up the edges or even carving the bricks for some. And if I could, just outsource some of this tedious work, then that's going to keep my level of engagement up, right? That's going to keep my motivation up and get me to the finish line. Like I don't want to spend hours upon hours like scratch building windows or trying to figure out how to scratch build like a gas meter. Like I want to get in there and start seeing this thing like put together. So if I can somehow speed up the process, especially for some of the boring parts, dude, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree. And for those that are working on commissions and stuff like that, the biggest thing for commissions is the amount of time you put into a piece, right? So if you're looking to make a buck, the quicker you can do something and the more quality you can add, which I think resin printing does, right? The better you can sell, the better your stuff's going to look too. Mario, you didn't hear it earlier, but our timer went off.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it did.
We got to get Scarface out here to be like, wrap it up, B. Yeah. All right. We went a little bit over time. So why don't we do this? Before we jump into the next segment, I need to get some refreshments. We'll take a quick 2-minute break.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we'll break, guys, and come back.
Yeah.
Yo, and we're back.
Back, baby. Cool. That gave me an
I'm going to leave the music on. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying that, dude, I like that. That music was great. It gave me a chance to not only get beer, but to pick up the piece that I was working on.
Nice. All right. So before we move on to the next topic, I think one of the things that we wanted to, just talk with the chat about is, we kind of shared our origin story. You heard the high school Mike origin. You heard the 796 origin story. What's your origin story? Chat? Yeah.
Feel free to chime in the chat. Let us know how you started. If you're a builder, what sparked that motivation to start building, whether you're a collector, photographer, whatever the case is. How'd you guys get started? And we'll read off some comments. In the meantime,
oh, show and share.
Show and tell, baby. So,
hold on, let me make you big.
And big in me. Yeah, this is just something that I've been carving. Dude, carving out of a solid block of foam is, I don't know, man. It feels safer for whatever reason. Dude, this is good, man. There's no like pieces. There's no like panels that I gotta like put magnets on and like square up and try to hide the seams. So I'm really digging this.
No bowing from the different panels. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I'm still waiting on Bearded to send me some 3-inch foam. But dude, I like this. And I think dude, I told you I had to pick up a second wire cutter because the clearance on the Proxxon is just under 6 inches. And this cheap eBay one I got has a clearance of just under 11 inches. So now I can sandwich up, sheets of 2-inch foam and just, get bigger sections, We really confuse people with that break. That's what we do.
Hey, if you'd have just waited a few more minutes, there will be an intermission. There will always be an intermission because I have a small bladder, or I have to get another beer. So I think the same is for Mario. I don't know about the small bladder, but the other beer is definitely.
No, I have an enlarged bladder. Anyways,
what is that?
Cheney, never walk away, especially this stream. I'm joking. Oh, my origin story? I was a wee little lad when Mario plucked me from my family to be his intern. Whoa, intern Machu? No, Machu's not an intern. Yo, Machu,
he's senior, man.
Yo, he's my fixer. Machu's the fixer, dude.
Yeah, Astrodork, it's got some good work.
Dude, yeah.
Oh, photographer 17 years. Yeah, dude, your photography is off the chain. Toy photography too. And I do appreciate the tags. I get tagged quite a lot by you. Appreciate it.
Nice.
Yeah, it seems like 2019, 2020, like a lot of stuff kicked off for people, like, the home time with COVID and, people wanting stuff to do. And there was a lot of content being made and being shared, and it was a great time.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of new skills were picked up during lockdown pandemic, man. Thank you, Archie, the homie. Oh.
So I think honestly you got to add in a few qualifiers, right? Because what size stuff you want to print, your price point. There's a few things to add in there because honestly,
let's read this out for the people listening on audio. So the question is, dudes, Mike and Mario, your honest opinion and expert knowledge, what is the best 3D printer with resin on market to print make action figure? Thanks. I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah. I really can't say, honestly. I don't think I've used anything that high end and don't have experience. But I will say that I've used the Anycubic 4K and I've seen stuff on the 8K. Those things are amazing. I don't know the longevity and how often you're going to be printing or how much you're going to be printing, but there are more industrial versions. I think not Photon. What is it? I'm bad with brands, but there is a new 8K 15-inch diagonal big print. Seems to be pretty industrial. But I think, was it Flashforge is one of the bigger names, not Glowforge.
So here's my take on this, right? I think especially with the newer 3D resin printers, they're all monochrome. They're usually 2K and up, right? I think where you'll want to focus more is your types of resin, right? Because those will give you different results, right? Usually these screens they claim these big numbers, but they're not really capable of producing, the numbers that they claim, right? But if you experiment with different types of resin and focus on dialing in the settings, dude, you can get some crazy prints. I remember when I was on my resin printing kick for a while, dude, I went back and forth. I tried out 3-4 different resins, tried out so many different settings. Get an exposure test print too. That's how you can dial in those settings and just messing with the settings gave me some sick ass like head sculpt prints where you can't even see any layer lines, right? One of my favorite resins is the is it Tenacious? No, Ceratec, the navy gray resin, and then I just started messing with this Resi 1 M58 ABS like resin, and it's sick and it's durable, dude. I've dropped a couple Rude Boy prints and their horns are still intact. So I would say try and get something within your budget and try some different resins and really focus on dialing in those settings.
Yeah. So I just showed off 2 printers. One's more economical and has a large, screen, so you can print very large models. This what I'm showing now is from Formlabs, and I think Formlabs is probably, still economical compared to like industrial printers, but you're going to see these as prototyping in a lot of large companies. I think there were some pictures last year of McFarlane had one in his shop. Adam Savage, I think, has used one of these for some of his Mandalorian parts. So Formlabs is highly recommended. But again, the price range is going to vary. So, just do your homework. I think that's the biggest thing. Do your homework. Make sure it's going to fit to what you're wanting to do, right? Yeah. But I highly recommend those 2, right? Formlabs is probably the most recommended, but it's going to be a much higher price point.
Yeah. Yeah, printing action figures is tough, man.
Yeah. And you can outsource those things. Don't, especially if you're like building a side hustle or something, outsource as much as you can. There are people out there that, that's what they cater to, right? You don't have to do it all in house. You could have those prototypes made, by a company and sent to you. So you don't have to deal with all those startup costs to get your, whatever you're trying to do off the ground. Mm-hmm. I used to be a janitor at a college at night, and there was this problem on the math classboard no one could solve. So I wrote Toy Amigos for the answer, and the rest is history. Yo, Bearded was dealing with the skunks last night. B Barnes, what's going on? That's a name I've not seen in a while. I took my kids to Target one day, and they were taking forever on the Barbie side, and I walked around and saw saw Marvel Legends and Batman figures, so I picked one up for nostalgia purposes or reasons. Yeah, dude, that aisle right there, I hit every time I go into Target, and now my kids are like routine. Even if we're buying groceries, first thing we go do is we check out the toy aisles. We hit up the NECA side, like over by the music, and then we hit the Lego aisle, action figure aisle, and now, since my little girl's older, we hit up the Barbie aisle, and then let's go, buy the groceries.
Yeah. Dude, I like this. Dioforge. I'm currently working on my Origin.
Hey.
That is a great time. Dude, I wish I could go back. I would do things a little bit differently, but I just want to say, first time I saw Dioforge and some of his work, I was like, what the hell? Dude, he did, I think it was like a dragon piece on foam. Blew my mind. I was like, follow. So I am 1000% subscribed to your Origin, man. I'm looking to see how your channel and your IG page just blows up, man, because that stuff is out of this world.
It's sick. Yeah, he's doing that stuff with laser. I think they're impressions, but yeah, he's done a couple things that are just sick. He's got some completed dios now. So yeah, man, it's cool to see like you write your story and seeing it unfold. Mm-hmm. I was encouraged by my friends as a photographer in 2016. I got a photo pass to shoot Iron Maiden in Chicago, Chirac. I've shot around 200 shows now, about 50 just here as a fan for your dio work. That's awesome. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you.
Oh, 80s baby in the house. What's up, Dario? Happy Saturday. I'm hitting Target when I touched down in Orlando. Are you on the way now? Oh, you don't have Target in Canada. That's what you mean. Yeah. I forgot. You got Home Depots. Are they using Formlabs? That's interesting.
Huh.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing, guys. I think it's about that time to roll into the segments.
Let's do it, baby. So we wanted to highlight some tools of the week. As I'm building, right? I have a ton of stuff that I use, right? And there are some tools that I neglect and then I bring back. But lately, you guys know that my favorite blade is the Alpha 18 millimeter. This is my Bible. This is, if I had to take one tool with me on a deserted island, it would absolutely be this. However, I've been using the trusty old X-Acto blade, the number 11 blade, and that's to make tiny little cuts like this. Like, you're not going to be able to get this, and this is 1/35 scale.
That cobblestone is
yeah, dude, and that was all cut freehand with the blade, the X-Acto. Now, I don't know if I got like some bunk blades or whatever, but they go dull pretty quick. So I'm like constantly changing them out. Once I start to notice that the foam is tearing instead of cutting, boom, I just throw in a blade. So I picked up a pack of 1,000 because I had to re-up. But yeah, man, it's more precise than this thing. And you can see, I don't have an X-Acto here right now, but like, it's, this is a pretty thick blade.
Yep.
Whereas the X-Acto is, if you make that in that cut, sometimes you can't even see where you cut, because it's that thin of a cut. So I've been starting to appreciate the X-Acto blade again. Got it.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting and why I want to get into a smaller scale is that amount of detail. I'm not saying it's easy to come by, but you can do more of that with those finer, devices like the X-Acto, like the thicker blade, right? Yeah. And it's not going to take you, 3 days to do that.
Yeah, man.
Depending on the size of the piece that you're doing, right?
Yep. I was debating on another tool that I wanted to showcase. I actually have it here because I was gonna do it, but what the hell? I'll just show it off too. A little dental tool.
Oh.
So I've been using this to like space out the bricks.
Nice, yeah.
And form. Like, now this is it takes much longer to go this way because I'm going in brick by brick and individually, sculpting. Like, these are cinder blocks, right? But if you look at the top over here, where is it? Right there. You're able to get in and sculpt with something as precise as this. So I've been liking it.
That's awesome.
The
and you get to round those edges. Yeah, dude, that's a perfect tool for that. Yeah. And I had it laying around. I must have had this in the toolbox for like years, and I've like never used it before. So you were a dentist before or a hygienist?
No, you know what? I think I got this because I wanted to like sculpt like clay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So what about you, Mike? You got a tool of the week?
I do, and actually, this is gonna go into another segment. But I was using this today, actually working on the commission I was alluding to earlier, and this is not as like yours, but a little different, right? This is my go-to tool of the week item this week for the very first episode, and yes, it's a nice leather-bound book. No, what this is have you seen Inspector Gadget? Do you remember what's the little girl's name? Her book? Do you remember the book? It was like really cool. What was it called?
Penny?
Yeah, Penny. She had the book. It had like it wasn't a book, but it was a computer. But this is what this reminds me of. Anyway, this is the
Don't
iPad,
say
guys.
book. Yoko's gonna jump all over the chat right now if you say book. Go ahead. Sorry.
The iPad, and why I bring this up as a tool is because there's a couple things you can do with this repeatedly from a diorama perspective, and I'll show you guys here in a second. So like today, actually going through my designs. So when I come up with a new commission, or when I get a new commission, I create designs and I draw them out. I sketch them out, and I could do that on paper if I want to. But what I can do is actually pull in some, ideas. A lot of times clients will send me pictures to get inspiration from, and I'll use those, and I'll go into an app called Procreate, and we'll create a drawing. Here on the iPad, and I'll show off what I did today, right? So this is very rudimentary. This is just me getting ideas. You can see that reference picture there. You can see I'm starting to draw some things out, right? I can place some things around. I got this ugly looking car, but I start to understand spatially how I want things. I'm using what I typically do, like my sidewalks. I know my sidewalks are typically like 6 inches, in 1/12 scale, that's 6 feet. And then I start doing measurements to understand how big I really need to make this to look compared to other known objects, like a 1/12 scale vehicle. And then, I start to get the understanding, drawing this out, how it's really going to be. If the customer wants a DTOF, obviously this one isn't going to fit in a DTOF. I go ahead and tell them that up front. Hey, if you want this to really, get this kind of image, we need to go bigger. But I can do this all digitally, right? And this is some of the first steps. And then I can also present this to the client, because then I can go back and I can do this, humble beginnings, like origin story for their Dio, right? Of this time lapse.
Do you have that at an angle?
I do. I don't know why I do that, but I draw not only the piece at an angle, but this diorama is going to be at an angle.
Yeah.
And I'm be shouting you out for that. So it's going to be on an angle because I want to do something different. I told this client this one isn't going to be just a diorama. This one's going to be kind of a museum piece. If you look at the bottom, you start to see some bevels. Yeah, you start to see some bevels there, right? So there will be lighting function. There'll be all sorts of things in here, like a rusty car. I told you guys earlier I would talk to this a little bit, and you can see I was showing my kids. My kids are inspiration. There's their name while we were playing around.
Nice.
But yeah, so the iPad's cool for that. Another thing I'll go ahead and show you here too is you can here's some estimates. Here's some stuff I was doing to get scale. There's some other stuff in here too, if I can find it real quick.
Damn, Mike, you're about to enable me to get an iPad Pro.
So I wanted to design a roof based on what I already had made. And, you turned me on to 1000. 1000 does this all the time with his murals, right? He'll take a picture of the wall and draw on it. I was like, why can't I do that? I can do that. I took a picture of the rooftop and laid out, started drawing like, this glass here, some AC, some line, how it could look, right? So you can take, it's almost like augmented reality, right? You can take something that's tangible and then draw right on top of it. Later on down here, if I can find it. Oh, I can't find it. I also with a window. Oh, here it is. I didn't know how I wanted to design this, right? I had these bricks done that I handmade, and I was like, how do I want to do this? How do I want it to look? So I just started drawing on top of it, dude, until I came up with a design that I really liked. So you have these cool overlays you can do, and it changes how you build, right? I don't have to do trial and error. I can try it all out in digital, right? And then take that over to whatever I want to build. So anyway, this is my tool for the week, is the iPad using Procreate for building.
Jeez, man.
That's just tapping into the potential for that. But yeah.
Yeah, damn it, man. Because I think this last build I showed you, I actually sketched out my drawing for the first time, and I had the measurements and everything. But you just showed me a better way of doing that. So, shoot, I need an iPad Pro now.
Dude, that one's from 2017, 2018. So you don't have to rush out and buy something new. I do recommend, if you get the pencil, and then put a matte screen on top of it, and it feels like you're drawing on paper. Like it's what I used to draw too, right? So
damn,
it's
points.
the thing I carry with me everywhere. I think you can pick those up now with the pen for probably about $500-600 for a used one, 2017. Don't go out and buy a new one unless you just really want to. Talking to people in the chat, but Procreate is an awesome app, and it sets off the iPad. So and drawing on it is so natural. Like you have the Wacom tablets; those are great, but they're so big. If you get the big, make sure you get the 12-inch iPad. I think there might be even a 16-inch. I would love to draw on that, but you can get that at a great price now. You don't have to go spend $1,000 or $2,000. You can get it for like $500 used.
Yeah, that's sick, dude. And you know what? I mean, this is a topic for 78s. What's up, dude? This is a topic for future, but planning your dios and sketching, especially with measurements, will save you a lot of time and headache, as I've recently just found out, because for the most part my builds have just been, I'm just going to wing it. I have an idea in my head and I'm just going to start carving foam. So I'm going to look into that, Mike. I'm going to look into iPad Pros.
Yeah, so that goes into what kind of what 78 is saying, right? Planning. If you're designing in some sort of software, drawing it out, that's your planning stage, guys. I use Tinkercad. It's very rudimentary, but again, it gives me my spatial, how big this thing needs to really be, and that forces you to plan. We talked about this a little bit, but to your point though, free building like that is so fun and refreshing, right? Because it's not planned. You're just building. You scrap or whatever, or you use full sheets, whatever you want to do, but it's a different experience, right? Do it both ways. Either way, it's never what you plan, right? You're going to run into a challenge every time with a build, and you got to be very creative in how you tackle that challenge, and that's some of the fun too.
Sick.
Cool. So that's my tool of the week. Did you have another one? Just one, right? Oh, you had two.
Yeah, I jumped in with two, man. Sorry, I jumped again. But
speaking of two, I think we can roll into the next segment if you want.
Let's go. You announce it.
2 tips, churro. So 2 tips. 2 tips every the build episode. You assemblers will be able to get 2 tips from us. We'll call this segment the churro moving forward.
Yeah, this is the churro. So I'm gonna share a tip. And then Mike, I can't get over the churro thing, man. But it's a little inside joke. So if you've been following us for quite some time, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll do a. Actually, you know what, Mike? Why don't you? No, we're not going to be showing that the churro origin story. So, oh.
Well,
nope.
So, these, a lot of times, your community is self-named. If you guys want to call yourself erectors, you're more than welcome.
No, you can't do that, Mike. You ain't demonetized, bro. You can't do that. Why don't you go with your tip first? Because my tip's going to lead into the next segment.
Very true. And so I kind of already pre-shared my tip, and I was going to go with the iPad tonight as well as that. But the tip there is to get the pencil, get the paper, the matte screen on your iPad, and get Procreate, right? Those are digital perspectives. I'm going to try to keep mine digital through this series. So I highly recommend getting that. It'll change your drawing capabilities. It'll help you draw faster, to help you get it done quicker, right? Instead of erasing and having those faint lines on traditional paper, it'll help you just move through your thoughts a lot quicker. You'll be able to save those, and you can actually go back and watch them. So my tip is, again, the iPad for your work.
Sweet. Now, a lot of people have been asking me. So there's a segment that I put up on my IG called Clean Cuts, and I just posted one the other day. Clean Cuts part 842, I think, right? And they're always asking, like, how the hell do you get your cut so clean, especially when I'm cutting out, like, a space to insert like a window. So I'm actually going to do a live demonstration. And Mike, while I'm cutting this, you can kind of Yo, Zoe, you better chill out, homie. I got bearded with the pool stick. I saw that comment a few minutes ago. I died. Zoe was always busting balls. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to do the clean cuts. I'm going to be using the Olfa 18 millimeter, and we're going to cut out just a little window. So let me get my camera set up. You see that okay?
Yeah, let me get this comment out the way. Yeah.
Damn, what's the frame rate at?
Yeah, I bet it's 60, but
nah, this is probably at like
oh, 24? You're probably on 24. Oh, really?
Yeah, so let's just do this really quick, right?
Using 1/2 inch foam?
Yeah. So 1/2 inch foam is usually my go-to, right? Usually if you get sheets of the 1 inch, you either have that 2x2, right? Which isn't that cost effective. Although now with the prices going up on foam, it might be. But if you get the 4x8 sheets of 1 inch foam, they're usually like scored like in 2 places, right? So I like to have fresh sheets. The problem though with 1/2 inch foam is sometimes it bows out, right? Just because it's so thin, but it's the cleanest of foam. But lately I've been working with 2-inch foam and just cutting it down and making blocks and then just carving directly into that. So this is going to be your guideline for, let's just say, a window. Now the trick is always fresh blades, right? And I'm not going in there and I'm not, freaking putting a lot of pressure on there. I'm literally resting the blade on the foam and letting the blade and gravity do the trick, right? So this might take a little bit.
This is precision, guys.
So it's gonna take multiple passes. And I'm trying to keep the blade straight, perpendicular with the foam, right? Like if you have it at an angle like this, obviously it's going to bow out. It's never going to be perfect, right? But you want to try to keep it as straight as possible. And again, just dragging it, not putting too much pressure.
Should I get a running start when I start using the blade?
All right, so that's one side cut, and then get a new blade, right?
I see why you wanted that mani petty this week.
Yo, you always got to keep the fingers clean, homie. Remember when we were cutting our nails right before unboxing Thursday?
Yeah.
So you can start to feel like this is hitting the underside. The blade is sticking out, right? So that's, you're done with that, right? And you're not, because you're at an angle, you're not going to be cutting to the edge, and I'll show you how to cut the edge later.
Why does Mario have that soft lighting and pastel colors? It's really soothing.
Dude, that's all me, baby. Oh, you know what? I do want to mention something. So with foam, you should be conscious of, there's grain. There's a grain to the foam, and I don't know if it's picking up on camera, right? But the grain is actually going this way. So the lines that I'm cutting this way are much easier and are going to require less force. So you want to be delicate on those cuts. Now, the cuts going against the grain, right, this way, you're going to want to, you know, have a steady hand and make sure, because there's going to be some resistance against the grain. So
You know, the green foam from Lowe's has like the worst grain, dude. No matter like when you're cutting against it, no matter what you do, it tears.
really,
I hate that green stuff. I think it's gotten a little better, but you know, just 4 years ago when I was trying it out, it was nasty.
dude, I've never tried the green foam. I want to try the green foam from, like, is it the Netherlands, like what G-Boom does? And then I sent you a link to the gray foam in, like, shoot, is it Germany? I don't know, but what is that?
This is that stuff that Diorama Boy uses, and when he sent me that Dio, he sent me some extra. This stuff
Dude,
is nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. The foams, all foams are not made the same, right? There's, like, the foamular. Unfortunately, it's the best that we got, right? But I don't like it because it's very elastic. Like, when you try and carve it, like, if you make an impression, like, you got it, but then it bounces back up, right? So you can never really carve into it, right? Now, if you remove the top layer, yeah, it's a little bit better. But I think the foam in like overseas, like in Europe, is way better.
Well,
For, like,
also
carving.
depending on, you know, half-inch, inch, or 2 inch, you can. It's also a little bit more porous too, and has
Mhm.
better memory. So like 2 inch will hold it, right? Where like 1 inch or half-inch and 1 inch will kind of bounce back. I
Yeah,
found 2 inch holds it a little longer.
yeah. So the 2-inch foam, and that's actually a really good point. So like, this is the front part, right? Or I guess the top part of the 2-inch foam, and it was a little tougher to carve in there. Now on the side, it's so much more, it takes impressions much easier. So I had to apply different pressure, less pressure on this side. Otherwise, I would have spaced out, like, the center blocks way too much. I would have had added way too much detail. So, and that just comes with time and experience. Like, you'll start to get a feel, as crazy as it sounds, you'll start to get a feel for the foam and the resistance and different types of pressures to apply.
Yeah,
Now
there's
that's,
also this floral foam, which, you know, is great for rocks and stuff like that, but it is messy to work with. You can
yeah.
get this floral.
Okay, so let me show you the final part of the clean cut. So what we did is we went and we lightly, you know, made multiple passes on, you know, the border, right? Now, if you look in the back, you can see, I don't know if it's going to pick it up, but these lines aren't connecting, right? Because I was cutting at, you know, when you're cutting at an angle, right? So you're not obvious, you're obviously missing, like, the bottom portion of the foam. Now, this is how I have made cutouts as clean as possible. So you got it, you got the blade in there, right? Now what you want to do is go straight. Let's see if I could do this. So this is how I do it. Now you want to be careful and not, you know, use any pressure, because you could easily slip and slice your finger. So just work it back and forth. Until you get right to the edge. Do you see that?
Yeah.
You're obviously going to do that for all the corners.
Yeah, I would say, Bad Wolf Media, that there's already some scarcity in some areas, as well as the price increase on foam. Not too long ago, and the 2x2 1-inch stuff has gone up almost like $10, where it was like 4 at one point. And then the 4x8 sheets of half-inch, 1-inch, and 2-inch have doubled at least, right? It's getting expensive.
Yeah, price of foam has doubled. I went to re-up on foam maybe a month ago, and I bought a 2-inch sheet, a half-inch sheet, and 4 project panels, and it was over $100. It's crazy.
People are wondering if you're cutting on your thigh. He's on his desk.
Oh. I'm not going to show the other bit. I'm almost done. No, I have a little cutting mat on the side over here. You see the blade on the back?
Don't cut the churro.
Respect the churro, baby. I'll never cut the churro. You bite the churro.
Sad thing is, I don't even know what a churro tastes like.
We had one, Mike.
How did you finish that? I spit it out. I spat it out. No, I hate the churro. Come on. Yeah, so I think there's multiple tips here, but on the corner specifically, it's holding that blade at a 90-degree angle to the foam so that you can get up on those corners without over slicing your corners, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to keep the blade as straight as possible, right? And no matter what you do, like if you're cutting from the top, especially on a mat, you're never going to get to the edge, right? And that's why you have to hold it up in the air. And I go back and forth because I want to go, well, one, I want to be safe. I don't want to like try and force it down because, a blade will slip. It's happened to me where a blade is slipping. I've cut myself, but you really just, I'm applying no pressure. I'm going back and forth. And when it's done, you'll hear a click. Oh, so precise.
Yeah, you can see there's no tear.
No tear.
Clean.
Right. Now, obviously, if you take your time even more with it, you can get even cleaner cuts. Like over here, you see a little bit of tearing, right? And for the most part, it's pretty straight on, right? So the point is this, fresh blades, make multiple light passes, let the let the blade do the work. And then when you're getting towards, the corners, right? Because what you want to do is you want to be able to cut all the way to the edge. You got to make sure your blade rock it back and forth so it's perpendicular to that corner. Throw this up on eBay.
It's $35. Sign it. That's from the first episode of the build.
Yeah, there you go. Which, let's go into our next segment, Mike. homework, baby. So this is your prereq to be able to watch the next episode. If you don't come in with the homework, you cannot enter this. I'm joking. Okay. What we wanted to do is kind of like how every other podcast or stream has like a photo challenge. This is our way to engage with like the community, with our audience, right? And we're going to call it homework. So every time we go live, we're going to have something like a little mini project for you guys to do. And I think it might be fitting, for the very first episode, especially like if you're a beginner builder or whatever the case is, right? Let's start off with your clean cuts. So I want to see, Mike and I both want to see some clean cuts, whether you're cutting out a window or even if you're just slicing some panels, right? Let's see your cleanest cut. And remember, fresh blades, multiple passes, light pressure, and take your time.
And wait, there's more.
Yeah. So post that up on Instagram, post a picture and tag us and use the hashtag #thebuild_clean cuts.
Yeah, and don't forget to tag us, right? Tag 796 High School Creations. Use this hashtag, and we're going to show off some of that work next episode.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Again, I think going to building and just the craft period, doing clean cuts and knowing how to cut is just going to set your pieces apart from other people, as well as just show how much you value your piece, right? If you send something to a customer that looks like the end of it was kind of eaten off, or you're allowing your blade to drag over the foam versus cut the foam, it's just going to set maybe they don't tell, but other dioramas will be able to tell. It's just going to set kind of precedence for how you care about your work, right? So there is a lot of friction from dragging the blade through the foam. Foam will get hot quick, so your blades do dull quick. That's why you see Mario, chopping off the end of the blade so often, right? Is to keep that blade sharp to get those clean cuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And take your time. I know everybody wants to finish a project and see their work finished, but no rush, especially with making those cuts. Take your time. It'll just make the diorama that much better.
With those particular blades that Mario's got, he's breaking off the tips. He's only using 1/2-inch foam, so he's not really dulling much more than that, right, when he's cutting the blade, because you're doing shallow cuts with multiple passes, right? You're not jabbing the whole thing in and pulling it back in one cut, right? So your shallow cuts, you only use the tip, you can break off that end.
Yeah. These are, you can get multiple use out of this blade. I think for this one though, I would probably throw it away and start with a fresh blade, just because one, this is too short for anything else now. I mean, maybe for like scribing some panel lines or brick lines, I would do that. Keep this, but I have a ton. So I throw all my blades away in this big. So I have this beer jug from this local pizza place, Peace Brewery. So I don't know how big it is, but I have my blades, my used blades in there, and it's like halfway filled up. So, but yeah, blades can be, expensive, but you know what? I mean, that's the price you got to pay for some clean cuts, baby.
So yeah, get out there, get cutting, cut safely. Make sure if you do cut, use the hashtag #thebuild_clean cuts and tag me and Mario. We want to see that work. We'll show it off on the next episode.
Absolutely.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
That was the show. That's pretty much the show right there.
Yo, we got the first one in the books. Unhinged Hour? No, that's another show. Sorry.
We do have a little bit of time, though, and I am chomping at the bit to open up some toys. So if it's cool with you guys.
Yo, Zoe? Maybe. Hit up Machu. Wait, we do still have some time, Chamba. Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Unleash,
put the
baby.
Spider-Man.
Oh my God. Oh, where does Black Costume Spidey rank in your favorite characters for Marvel?
Well, so I'm a huge Venom fan, huge symbiote fan, and knowing that this is the origin of Venom, right? This is except in the MCU right now, or not? Is it MCU, Sonyverse, whatever it is? That's not the case. But this is the beginning. This is when I was first seeing like, yo, that suit, it can change into clothes, it can do all these different things, right? That's more than just a symbiote. That's more than just the suit right there. That he can, change his outfit, he can hide, he can do all these different things, right? He can make objects with it. This was just like the pinnacle of just like super awesome, right? Because it was alien, it was sci-fi, it had all these special abilities, made you super strong. I wanted a symbiote, dude, and
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
it's probably my most favorite because it kind of combines like Venom and Spider-Man, right? Even though Venom separates from this, it pulls those two concepts in, and yeah, it was like this is it. I have every version of Black Costume Spider-Man,
Yeah,
the 12-inch Marvel Legend, the new Marvel Legend, the previous version of the Marvel Legend, this guy. What else is there?
dude, I hope Hot Toys makes one. That would be sick. But
It would be.
yeah,
Oh, even at the was it the Mezco's got one too, right?
yeah, Mesco has one. That wasn't the greatest though, because it looked like he was just wearing a costume. Although he does later on wear just a costume. But yeah, no, Black Costume Spidey, Johnny Number Cinco, what's up, dude? It ranks up there. I think the only other character I like better than Black Costume Spidey is Scarlet Spider because it's so 90s and like a cutoff hoodie. Come on now. But I can't wait to get my Mafex Black Costume Spidey.
Yeah, I would say that Scarlet Spider is right there for me, right there for me too. But I don't know the origin story, but just the look of him is so cool. I'm ready. I don't know if I pre-ordered the Mafex version, but did that Hot Toys version? To get my hands on one if I can find it at a decent price.
Mm-hmm. How do I embiggen you?
Oh, it's that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th box over.
Oh, nice. Yeah, let's see this
do
bad boy. You better take a whiff of that figure.
Let's see if it's got COVID.
Yeah, X-Force Wolvie. That's coming soon. That Mafex, X-Force, Wolverine, and Deadpool should be out, what, December? Did you pre-order that? Yeah, you did, Mike. I don't even know why I'm asking you.
All Mafex, whatever we're going to call it tonight, is going to be pre-ordered. Like, I set my toy buying on autopilot.
Oh, wait. We're in the enabler hour. Let's go.
It does? Yo.
Did everybody in the chat order this, pre-order this? Who didn't get this? That's a better question.
Yeah, because we already know it's an awesome buck, right? I mean, this is a tried and true buck for all the Spider folks in the line, right? It's interesting how they did an actual what do you want to call that? Sculpted spider on here.
Oh, the logo is sculpted?
I don't recall them doing that with the previous Venom. Maybe they did. Yeah, it's actually sculpted. Or it's interesting.
I think Venom might
looks good though. Yeah.
That looks good, man.
My arm hasn't fallen off yet, which is good.
Is that a thing with this? His arm falls off?
I saw Laser Pants. I think it was broken. Like his came in broken or something. I have 3. Oh my god.
I don't doubt that, Billy Moon. I expect at least 3 from you. Dario.
Oh wow.
You just didn't want it, Dario, or you got a thing against Black Costume Spidey? Oh, Trevor's gonna take some crazy shots.
Yeah, I can't wait to see those.
Yeah.
I think I was most excited for this head sculpt.
Yeah, let me
See,
see.
sounding like a bully again.
Who, me? Who said that?
Who said that?
Bring it closer to the cam. I want to see his face. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Really quick, that reminded me, shout out to Machu Toy. Did you see his little reel with he put the Sentinel Peter B on the Mofex Venom?
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Uh,
The facial expressions just kill it.
so good. So good, man.
Because this is a very, very neutral face. There's not much to it, right? I mean, it's a good looking sculpt, paint,
Yeah.
but it'd be cool to have some expression.
Yeah, he doesn't really look like he's losing it in that head sculpt. Chamba says, I didn't. I wanted the Secret Wars eyes, and this didn't come with it. What's the Secret Wars eyes?
They're actually a little smaller. This is more. Is this more McFarlane-esque? We can pull it up real quick.
Dude, I hope they didn't reuse that head sculpt for the Scarlet, which I have a feeling that they did. Oh, you're a wise man, Art G.
I was gonna pull this up real quick, and I kind of lost it.
Cheney has 3 of everything.
3 of everything.
Toy Malarkey. I can't do Mofex. Beautiful toys, but I can't get into another toy line at 110 a pop. I feel you, dude. I feel you. All right, Dario, acceptable. Did you guys see the repainted one? What repainted one?
Someone repainted it. Can you see that? They're too small. You see the eyes are a little smaller.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so would the legends be like Secret War style then?
Isn't that more animated? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Dope. Do a post session.
Me? I don't pose. Let's see though.
Trevor says Jay Hernandez couldn't quite bring himself to say this was better than Hasbro, but he knows.
Is there any way? I mean, I'm looking at them at 2 different things, right? But
I think, yeah, I love that the Hasbro one, but I have a feeling Mofex is going to be my go-to. Astonishing news or reviews. What's up, man? Mofex has my wallet, and they know it. Lol.
yep, same here. Oh man, I can't do this.
No, Toy Rental, you can't explain it. Yo, just send it to me on IG, man.
What's he trying to explain?
The repaint of that Spidey.
Oh, and those for those still watching, this is kind of like after hours. This is just us after the show, just opening up some toys.
Yeah. Since you're showing off a toy, I want to show this off really quick. I got this unexpectedly because I think this was supposed to release in March or February 2023, but it is the Crimson Hawk.
Oh wow.
The Ryu Ranger. Ryu from Street Fighter gets some sort of Power Ranger powers. I don't know. I don't really know, but I think Chamba, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Chamba had a hand in like either he drew it or something, but yo, this is a Hasbro figure and it's so sick, dude. I popped on the SHF Ryu head on it per Chamba's guidance, and it works perfectly with this, so I like it. I'm all in, baby. Dragon Eyes 69, leave my toys alone. What's up, dude? My symbiote suit Spidey just came in today from BBTS. Whoa.
Mine, yeah.
Wait. Yeah, you know what? BBTS gets their Mafex pretty much like either on time or a couple days behind like the Japanese retailers. So
I feel like that's kind of newer though. They haven't always. It's kind of a new change up, I feel like. It's nice.
yeah. Toy Malarkey. Having said that, I may or may not have pre-ordered classic Magneto. He's my favorite Marvel villain. I'm screwed if they make Doctor Doom. Yo, if Mafex made Doctor Doom, they would crush it.
Yeah, I bought that Mezco, man. I think Mezco is going to be probably the Doctor Doom figure to have. But I put a soft good cape on that Hasbro one that came out, the first one, with the new sculpt, and it, man, that thing was so nice until it fell off the shelf and broke.
Oh yeah, R.I.P. Yeah, if anybody has an extra Marvel Legends Doctor Doom, the newest one, send it to Mike. Billy Moon, hashtag enabler hour. Maybe. I like it. Also, Billy Moon, yes, I'm going to keep it. Oh, okay, Chamba says, I did concepts for it and did illustrate him on his debut in the game. Chamba is a legend. Everybody, everybody here is already following Chamba and knows who Chamba is, so I don't got to plug his stuff anymore. But Chamba, you're a legend, dude.
Just in case, go make sure you follow him. The algorithm will remove people sometimes if you haven't interacted with them. So just go make sure that you're following the Chamba.
Yeah. If you've been living under a rock and don't know who Chamba is, go follow him right now. An amazing artist. And also
this is one accessory. Oh, sorry. Yeah. This is one accessory I've not seen. This is the web bag. I've not seen that with any other.
You could probably use a wash, no?
Yeah, definitely could.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. That's the first open up in a while. All the other ones are just sitting on the shelf.
All the other ones are just shitting on them.
Shitting.
Wait a minute. Alonzo says Green Ranger versus Ryu Superpower Beatdown. Is that the fan made YouTube videos where they have like characters from different properties fighting each other?
That's interesting.
I think so.
The mashups are getting unreal. I saw a toy commercial today with Marvel Legends and Monster combined. Sorry, Marvel Universe and Monsters. I've never seen that before. Look kind of cool. It's more of a kid's line, but the Doom Bath, the Doom from the Super Wave, Super Bath,
from the Super Scroll. Yeah, from the Super Scroll.
Yeah. Was that the first? It was like the they had a Doom before, right? This is the first rework.
Yeah, that the Doom before was the return of Marvel Legends when Hasbro took over, which was not good at all. But yeah, Cheney, that's the one. Oh, Koopa Steve, shout out Koopa Steve. My army built the retro Doom for Doombots, and I can't. Yeah, so the retro Doom is on the same buck. It's just a different tones of green. So, dude,
yeah, hit me up.
Doombots were sick, similar to Chumbots.
What about the Doom head sculpt that came? Oh,
Cheney's the man. Take this.
Where the super chats at, Mike? They're coming. Hopefully, there's this other number for YouTube to be monetized, and that's watched hours. And one of the reasons, coming back to live streams is the watched hours are hard to get. I was hoping to kind of bring that back with the live stream. So last year around this time with Diorama Talk Season 2, I was well over the 4,000 number. But since then, the numbers have dropped off, even though I'm still putting out some content. So trying to get those numbers back up. One day there'll be super chats.
Yeah. Yeah, we just gotta pump out a little bit more content, get some hours up there. So if you're watching this on the replay, thank you very much. Help us reach that goal so we can get some super chats rolling in and pump some more funds back into this production, and we can finally pay people like Machu Toy.
4,000 hours, Billy, is the total number to be able to apply for to be monetized with YouTube. Yeah, so you guys come watch the build. If we can keep you guys entertained, that'll help us build up those numbers, right, to get back to a level that we once were. And super chats, once those roll out, we'll some community memberships where we already have some planned emotes, and then have some plans to support the super chats, and we'll share that as we hit that milestone. But have some fun things planned for the build and the community around the build.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything else. Well, I do have more stuff to open. I could open for days, but I know we don't want to drag this on forever, right? Wish we could.
Yeah, we'll save that for Enablers Edition unboxing.
Speaking of, and we can start rolling into plugs. Enablers Edition, what is it? 2 weeks from now?
Yep.
Yeah, November 10th. So not next Thursday, guys, but the following Thursday will be the Enablers Edition of Kevin's Toying Around unboxing episode. So you'll see us again there. And then the next build episode should be 2 weeks after that. So we'll have to look at the Thanksgiving timeline, but trying to do one of these once a month. So the next one will be in 3 to 4 weeks on Saturday at 9 p.m. with myself and 796 Studios Mario.
Yeah, baby. All right, let's do some plugs and roll up out of here. How do I make myself big?
There you go.
You could follow me on Instagram at 796 Studios. You can also find me on Vero at 796 Studios, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Here on the build, we'll put out a schedule. I don't know. And then you can catch me on every first Thursday of the month on Toying Around's channel, Unboxing Thursday, Enabler Edition, and every Tuesday for the time being on the Toy Migos channel, Chat Migos, where we chop it up with Chamba, Cheney, my best friend Lago Figs, and we talk about toys and have a special guest on. Also, that's all I got, actually. I got nothing else. But thank you all for hanging out with us. This has been a long time in the making, and Mike, I love you. I love your ideas. I love your creativity and chopping it up with you. I love you, chat. So stay tuned. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, how do I come back with that? I'm going to start out with thanking everybody that came out tonight. I know this being the first episode. Wasn't expecting this much love, so thank you all for coming out. Again, Mario, cooking this up with you, man. I don't see doing this with anybody else, so I appreciate you, taking this on with me and coming down this venture. We're writing kind of another origin story here, so it's super working with you and collaborating with you on another level through a stream. So that's really cool. But I'm High School Mike. High School Creations, Mike. So yeah, you can follow me over on, I plugged it earlier, but Patreon. Thank you to all those folks over on Patreon that support me there. All that goes back into the live streams and stuff here. I'm most active over on Instagram. You guys can hit me up through DMs if you ever have any questions about builds or anything you see there. Also on TikTok, here on YouTube. Obviously, we're on the High School Creations channel. Also streaming on Twitch tonight. I don't know if we'll continue to do that, but trying to just spread the love here with the build. But yeah, we'll be back here in a few weeks. We'll make sure to post and let you know when. But until then, guys, it's been great. Love you all. Like Mario said, this is a great opportunity for us to get with you guys here on Saturday and just hang out. I miss it. So I'm glad I'm back in it. And again, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Should we Should we roll that that intro one more time or save it for next time?
No, let's roll out with it.
All right, let's roll out with that. Again, thank you to Machu Toy for the quick edit. And thank you to Bearded Builds for keeping the chat in line, although it's all our friends in the chat and everybody, we love you. So have a good night. Enjoy that badass intro from Machu Toy. Peace.